Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Seaopolis. Let's call it a progress report. A little, just kind of letting you know how I'm doing on this. This is sort of, you can see that I've expanded the system here. I'm going to call this phase 3 of the automation, and this is really pretty decent here. We're actually getting tin and copper here. Yeah, it's not 100% automated because I still need to create the dust. But I create the dust and I throw it in here. Now, if you remember the dust, when you sieve the dust, it creates this black dust here, whatever, dust 2. And of course, this will now go into the system here. And once we get enough of that dust in there, it'll craft the pore transformation power. Now, well, let's start at the beginning on this. Let's go through the thing. Now, again, all of this stuff that you see here is stuff you build that you'll make following the quest line, of the like this hammer time here gives you all that kind of stuff. Let's get down here to the Bronze Age. You got copper hammer. Well, no, I haven't got that far yet, have I? Where is it at? Where's all this stuff at? Here it is. Yeah, so if you follow this through, you're going to get to these resource generators, which is what we've got going on over here. And no, that's not it. Where is the flux generators? Here we go. And then see here we got the pore transformation power, get to the tin and stuff, and then you build the flux hammer, compression dynamo, which runs off of lava, by the way, your energy pipe. So yeah, all this stuff is you'll build as you're going through the quest line. This is the resource generator 2, and it's basically a block duplicator. It duplicates whatever block you put on top. Now, you can make this a little bit better by putting a block of a particular metal like iron or whatever on top of it. You'll get a little book with this, and it'll show you all the different variations that you can do on this. I just have a cobblestone, and it just basically duplicates the block that's on top, and it just generates cobblestone at this point. Now the cobblestone goes into a fired crucible here to generate lava. Now it says heat 15 because I've got a campfire underneath there. So yeah, the campfire does pretty well. It gives you a heat number 15. I recommend using the campfire. It's really easy to make, and I'm sure there's other things. I don't know how, say, lava compares to the campfire, but the campfire is usually pretty decent. It's sometimes better than lava, depending on the pack that you're working with. But yeah, the campfire does a heat of 15, which is pretty good. And then of course the lava goes into this compression dynamo here. And the compression dynamo basically generates RF based on different types of fluids. But really the only thing I have right now that I can make is lava. So it's going in here. Now, this is not a fast system. It's not generating, hundreds of, RF or anything like that. This is just kind of, again, just the next step in the evolution of generating these resources, getting these resources fully automated. I mean, it's a process as you go through it. Now, this is the flux hammer, and as you can see, it basically generates or it takes the input and just does what a hammer does, and then pushes the output. In this case, it's taking the cobble and it's giving us gravel here. Then this gravel goes into the the auto clicker here, and it clicks the goes through and puts it in the sieves. That's what I'm trying to say here. Puts it in the sieves, and we generate, for gravel, we generate the flint, the stone pebbles, and not the dust, but the flint, the stone pebbles. Now, gravel, unlike the cloth ones that generate or the string mesh that generates, all those different kinds of pebbles. These are flint. I've got everything upgraded to flint, and the only thing the flint generates is the stone pebbles and the flint. That's it. That's all it generates, which makes it really easy. Let's get over here. And then I've got a filter here that pulls out the stone pebbles, the flint, and the dust. Now the dust comes from, and you can see the dust here. It comes from the white dust that I put in there, because I have to do that manually still. That part hasn't been automated yet. But I'll get I'll go through the process with my hammer here, and beat down some gravel and that sort of stuff. And then all of this stuff goes in here. Oh, you know what? I need to. That's one thing about this. I need to, have kind of make a spot on this sometimes so it'll go, because it's not 100% consistent on it. Again, this is just phase 3 of the process here, but look how much we've generated here. Wow, that's a lot. I mean, this thing is actually working pretty good for what it is. It's not the best system in the world by any means, but it's actually working pretty well. And then, of course, this transformation powder has to be put into a barrel of lava to generate the actual block, and we'll see it here. We'll see the block get generated, and then that block gets pushed into the clicker, and then it goes into the sieve, and that's what generates our tin and our copper pieces here. Yeah, and it works out pretty well. Now, the next phase on this would be to automate the dust procedure, but I have to make 3 of the flux hammers, right? So I'd have to take the cobble and beat it into gravel. So that's 1, and then take the gravel and beat it into sand. That's 2, and then take the sand and beat it into dust. And so that would be 3. Then I could feed the dust back into this chest here like I'm doing now, manually. And then it would go through the system. The dust would go through the system here and get converted into the gray dust. The white dust would get converted into gray dust, which the gray dust would then go into this system, generate this, and then go back into here. Now I have another crucible here with a campfire on it, generating lava from this guy because I needed two lava sources. And then this, and then that gets fed back into the system to generate the tin pieces and the copper pieces. So really the next piece of this would be to add the dust generation. And then, the way I've got it set up, it basically just kind of feeds back into itself because it doesn't run fast enough. I'm not generating enough power to. I'd have to add more dynamos. Have to make more dynamos and boost up my power system, because obviously a power system isn't up to snuff now. But it's actually not a bad situation, because while this is pausing in between getting the power it needs to create the gravel, it allows this branch of it to flow through into the system here to generate my ores. So it's actually working out really well. And of course these pieces have to be converted over to the chunks, the actual raw forms of these, and then I can take the raw and smelt it up. Yeah, and then we can go, you know, create the actual ores that we have. Now, all of these items here are basically tin and copper, just variations of tin and copper. But I can't really go past that because I got to get to the bronze here. So I've got to make a multi-servo, which is just bronze and copper. So that's not a bad deal. And then the pulverizer, I need the induction smelter. Again, that's bronze and copper. A couple furnaces, not a bad deal. We've got that. We're making that stuff now. Sequential fabricator, which is just an auto crafter. Again, it's bronze, which is which we can make with the induction smelter. Smithing table, but then this is what I really need right here, the pulverizer, and that takes a regular flux hammer and then bronze. And the thing about the next step, getting to the iron, pieces requires the improved organic matter, which is the pore transformation powder, which is what we're using now. What I'm making now, but it's also this sand dust, and that comes out of the pulverizer. So in order to get to the iron stage here, going to have to make the pulverizer, which we can do because it's basically all of this whole section here is basically the bronze section, and we can make bronze with where's the crafting recipe on it? Let's see. Yeah, it's 10 and it's 3 copper and 1 tin. So we're making all that right now. So we can do bronze. That's not an issue. And once we do the induction smelter, we can use the actual ores to create the bronze. And then once I get the pulverizer going, of course we're still going to have to work on our power situation, but once we get the pulverizer going, I can pull off the this right here and just do a filter with round robin. These filters, if you look at them, you know, they give you a different you can do further, and then you can do round robin, for example. So that's what I could do, a round robin. I could do a filter on this with a round robin, so it would send one over here and send one over here. And we're going to do nearest first here on this one. But I need the pulverizer. But once I get the pulverizer, I can pull off this this transformation powder here, and then pull off the sand that I'm generating over here. When I'm creating the dust, I can pull off that sand, run the sand through the pulverizer, and then create that create the improved or improved transformation powder. Again, because it's basically sand and the pebbles, and I can use the I'm producing more pebbles and stuff that I'm using, so I just pull the pebbles off of this line here and put all that into another auto crafter, and then what I'll do is I can just feed that back into this barrel here. And again, we're not, you know, there's since we've got pauses in the system because of our power generation, it isn't, you know, I mean, this thing will sit idle for a minute, right? Well, that allows this branch to go, but this is going to sit idle for a minute as well, and that'll allow this branch to go. And then ultimately what we'll do is we'll be able to feed all that back into the system, and we'll be generating our iron and nickel and whatever the other I think there's 3 additional pieces that we can generate with this: nickel, aluminum, and iron. And really, the only thing we're missing out of this piece is the creating the dust, which is the gravel, the sand, and the dust, and then creating the sand dust with the pulverizer to create the improved transformation powder, which then we just feed back into the system, and we'll be generating with with those 2 pieces added, which isn't really a whole lot, a pulverizer and 3 more flux hammers, well, 4 because we need the one for the pulverizer, we'll be generating all of our ores, or at least the first set of ores that we need to generate. So yeah, so this is going to work out pretty well. It's going to be, I can probably set this up a little more efficiently, as far as pathing and stuff is concerned. I mean, this is just kind of organically kind of grew out of the system, sort of an organic progression here. But yeah, I'm sure we can probably optimize this a little bit better. But, because we're going to have to, figure out, I'm thinking about branching out in this way, and then in this little area here would be where we'd add the pulverizer and pull off the pebbles and stuff coming out of this line here, pull them off that direction. Again, doing the round robin filter on that will take care of that situation, and then pulling off the transformation powder out of here and wrapping it back around over here, and then feeding it back into the system. Maybe setting up a separate crucible and stone barrel to generate the lava, because those things are really, really simple to make, and there is pretty simple to do. I mean, we're going to be pulling cobblestone off this line anyways here to generate the dust, so we'll just pull off the cobblestone into maybe a second set of these systems here for the improved transformation power to create the dust, and then feed it back into our auto clicker here that'll go into the system and generate ores. That's probably the way I'm going to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's working, coming out really well. It's working out pretty well so far. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Not the prettiest thing and not the most efficient system at this point, but yeah, it's not bad. I don't think not bad. I mean, it's chunking along, and we're creating quite a bit of this transformation powder here. So yeah, it's doing pretty well. Again, I've got this issue of the dust not going through, all the way over here, but that situation will correct itself once we get that other line set up here. It won't be, it won't be clogging it up with all of it, because we'll be splitting up those pebbles and the flint and whatnot in that second line. Anyways, I just wanted to share kind of phase 3 with you on this. If you're playing this pack, try to give you some ideas on how to automate this. It's yeah, it's pretty fun so far. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, there you go. So appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye now.